this, if I look similar in the video before or prior or after, I don't know when, like sometimes when I upload two videos at the same time, the one that I do second uploads faster, which I'm just like, whatever. But I mentioned I would have to upload them separately because I mentioned something in the last video about this video, so it would be really weird to go backwards. But I just wanted to vent about this for a second. So yesterday I got into, I'm gonna say argument, but like, I guess an argument with my best friend's mom. And let me explain to you how it is. I know you're gonna be like, that's rude. No, it's not what you think. So my best friend his family just broken. And I don't want to like say it like that, and I don't want to like talk about his situation, but like, it's not like y'all know who he is. I'll never say it. But yesterday, so he's in the hospital at the moment. Sometimes I feel like I don't say words correctly, or I say them too fast. Because I'm from New York, if no one knows that. I'm from New York, and I talk a little faster, and sometimes trying to slow down words doesn't go well for me. So I'll try to repeat that again. He is in the hospital at the moment. And I went to go see him, obviously, yesterday on my day off. And I was sitting with him, and we were friends back in high school, but we stopped for a minute as life just kind of happened. Also, I'm gonna do a story time about why we kind of stopped talking in high school, but I honestly say that he would have to be here for that. I think I'm gonna do that as like a drunk story time because that's really funny. And we came to a lot of conclusions as adults now when we rekindled our friendship. Because there wasn't anything like super wrong with our friendship that was really like we spited each other. Yeah, I guess you could say the action we took to each other was very spiteful, but like even after that, it wasn't like true malice intent. It was us understanding like two hurt motherfuckers were like trying to hurt each other because it was like we were over it, dude. Who now? Not gonna get into that right now. We will get to that in a different segment. But yesterday I went to the hospital. I went to visit him. We were sitting there talking, but I only say that is because I only mentioned the last part because his parents didn't know we were friends again, which doesn't matter because hi, I'm a grown ass man. I don't need anyone's approval to be friends with anybody, to be forward. And bitch. But of course, since the high school situation, his parents have had a skeptical view of me, apparently. And I get it. But also, 15, 22. Like, you gotta like that's 7 years ago. Like, ew, oh my God. That's 7 years ago. I'm not even old, and I'm not gonna get into that, but like, ooh, it's so weird to say that. Like, in 3 years, it'll be 10 years ago. In 3 years, it'll be 10. I don't know if it sounds like I farted, but I didn't. I just rubbing my toe. I'm sitting on like this leather seat thing, and my feet just keep sliding. But, God, it'll be 10 years. Okay, so but what he's going through now is that one part of his family is very toxic. One part of his family is trying to help him be an adult because he's 21. Not that he's not being an adult, but like I think, have you ever watched somebody stay stagnant in a certain area and you watch the things that keep them there? As for me as a friend, like if I'm gonna elevate, I'm taking you with me, or at least I'm going to try. I'm gonna tell you what I think and what I see in your life that is indicative to needing change. But again, I'm a true believer of you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him wet, drink, right? So, and he understood that, and he gets it, and it's fun because he gets me, and like he understands that like everything about me, even understands I need space, bitch. And I mean, like I've attended. If you know me, you know I need space. And I just want to think about him. He's very respectful of my boundaries. That's like true friendship. But I want him to, definitely like get out of a situation so he can be on his own, and very much so like, I mean, he's independent, but like he is still tied to his family, and that not saying anything bad, like you can't be tied to your family, but like in such a way that like it hinders him from actually like doing the things he wants to do, and life wise, like he can do whatever the fuck he wants, it's not a problem, but like just sometimes I think like for me, I was there at one point, you know what I mean, like I understand what it feels like to be trapped under the pressures of everybody else. Like his brother is a terrible tragedy. I don't know if you've seen my abortion videos, but like that's one of them people that like shit, like if you ever needed birth control, that was it. Like, sorry, y'all don't know him the way I do, so like moment of silence for what could have not been. But no, so like yesterday we were in the hospital and he was like, he's something's wrong with his throat. That's what the problem is. So he can't yell, and that's a big factor into what like transpired yesterday. So we were talking, and then his dad came in. His dad is cool. That's the best part. So his dad's cool, and that's the part of his family that is like trying to help him. Like he understands that like the other part of his life is toxic, and so he separates him from all of that. You know what I mean? He's like, okay, you gotta be over here with me because that over there is terrible, and I respect him for that, because fathers, in my opinion, you don't see a lot of that. They don't show that part of good dads who try, and my God, he tries. But his mom and grandma came in yesterday, and they just started overwhelming him. I would say his mom more specifically. His grandma did do a couple of things, but she was definitely trying to slowly tell them, like, okay, calm down. Like, you can't. She was like trying to force him to change his shirt into the gown. He was like, I don't want to change the gown. It's fine. I go home tomorrow. Like, whatever. She's like, nah. Like, just a bunch of stuff. Like, and not in the way of like, well, that's his mother. Like, she cares. No. One, she's intoxicated. Like, don't show up for me. Like, I love people who can show up for me. Don't show up for me drunk, because that means you're not here for me, and for some reason you needed to be out of your mind to be here. Like, nah, we're cool. But that's not even like the worst part. The worst part for me was I was like, man, like you're very much so overwhelming him in a state where he's already overwhelmed. I mean, he literally like almost couldn't breathe, and he can't speak per se. He can, but like he can't speak to the point where like as he was he still has to heal, and so he's trying to like tell her like, please, 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 like he was begging, and it reminded me, get you a Scorpio best friend because we care. It just reminded me of all the things he would tell me, and I would tell him my advice, like tell her this, tell her that, you know what I'm saying, like, because I'm trying to sugarcoat shit. So she also uses him for a lot of stuff, even though his other brother, who's older by the way, like by like I forget how old he is, like 26, 27 maybe, damn near 30, okay, but he is a fucking mess, and I don't want to sugarcoat shit, and I'm so tired of doing this. Like the point I made yesterday in the hospital room was that like, so the way my best friend is split is he lives with his dad. Them two are together, and then his brother lives with his mom. And they every day there's something else with them. Every day. And I'm like, listen, kiddo, I was about to call his name because I have a nickname for him and I just call it my natural. But like, I'm about to say, listen, kiddo, like, you need to express to your family, because even his dad would tell him to do so. Like, it's not just me, bitch, okay? It's not just me. It's not just me. Everybody's like, I'm not the bad guy here. But even his dad will let him know that like you can't save that part of your family. Sometimes you want to, but like the reason why they're separated is because he had learned that he can't save them. And he's the dad, and he's the patriarch of the family. You know what I'm saying? Like he saw like the exit and had to go. And kudos for him for that. This system I fucking pay is gonna be my noise. Cha, I did not just say that. Okay, but I just like, and then I would always, but I would really tell him like he would complain every time, like every day, like it's always drunk. His mom is always drunk, and she's always using him because she can't get a hold. And I would say hold, maybe like a hold on the other brother. I'm like, you, you can't enable such a bit. Like, I mean, it's not. I mean, his brother isn't just like, oh my god, he's crazy. Like, literally, like, does so much shit, and then treats his mom like crap. But my best friend is supposed to feel like he has to come save you all the time for that, but you enable that. You enable that behavior from your son. Even I've told her directly prior to this, months ago. I think it was like last year. I want to say almost 2 years ago. I want to say really. I was like, you have to start cutting him off because he's becoming a problem. And I told her, and I still remember the advice I gave her. I don't know why she would treat me in such a manner in the way that like I don't understand why. Like, I've never done anything to hurt her. Everything I've ever said to her was to help her. But I remember the advice I gave her. I was like, you need to cut, your other son off because he's gonna become a problem later, number one. And two, I told her, and I was real. I told her, I was like, whatever you did in your past to him, he has to heal from that. You have to heal from that too, but like you can't enable his behavior in hopes that he'll forgive you or it'll make up for the things you did in his childhood. And by saying that, I mean like she was just very not there in my opinion, because this wasn't just like a friend. I mean, we spent a lot, like we lived in the same neighborhood, so like my mom took care of me. Like me and my best friend at the time, he's more friends with my brother than he was friends with me. But like we would always have like sleepovers and stuff because we were kids. And my mom was like, he went to our family reunion. He was like a third son. Like, he was like a brother to me. That's why we became so close. He was like a brother to me, which is, when you get, the story time comes out, like, we'll explain all that, like, now it got complicated, but like, he was like, especially for me, like a little brother, because, I mean, one, he's younger than me by a year, but like, more so because he's always looked up to me, and he is gay like me, which is crazy because everyone thinks we're dating. We're not dating. But like we're strictly platonic. Like I think it's weird and that like everybody's always pegging two gays together because they're gay. I'm like, that's not qualifying characters to be together. Please stop. And it's so uncomfortable. But which also might play a role in this too. But yeah, so yesterday I was like, listen, I was like, hey, like he was so overwhelmed and like I can feel his energy, and his energy felt so much similar to mine when I was in that state. With my parents, and it was so like I can still feel it from yesterday, and it was like he wanted to cry, and either that or I wanted to cry for him, and I couldn't sit by in the same room and let it happen, and I just looked at her and I calmly said, you guys might be overwhelming him. And she was like, no. I was like, no. We were like, and I told her, I was like, I'm not one to like, which is crazy that I'm doing it now, because I'm not one to like sugarcoat shit, especially when I'm in your face. Like I'm not rude, but I'm definitely not gonna sit here and just be like, well, maybe no, it is what it is. And I was like, and I told her, I was like, we were in the room prior to you walking in here and very calm, and now you walked in here and he's so overwhelmed and anxious and in all these different negative energies. I'm like, you just need to back off for a second. And she's like, first of all, she immediately told me to shut up, and I was like, that's kind of rude. And I was like, whoa. I was like, and I think people forget. Like, I mean, this is a woman who, like, I want to say took care of us, but, like, just let me stay at her house a lot. I get it. And that respect is there, and that thankfulness and gratefulness is there. But I'm a grown-ass man now. Holding me to standards when I was 15 is not the same. Like, I don't respect you the same because I know more about you and I know more about facets of life. So I don't look at you the same way I looked at you when I was 15, which is like as a role model, because now I know you're nothing near that role model that I kept. You see what I mean? And that doesn't mean I'm going to be rude to anybody, but it does mean that like you have to understand my perspective is not going to be the same as it was when I was a 15-year-old child, or even prior to me knowing more things about you. Like, I grew up. Like, you can't be like, whatever. Anyways. So I was like, no. I told her, I was like, I'm a grown man. You don't tell me to just shut up. Like, if you do, then expect me to be very vocal about it. I can't reiterate how many more times I can like reiterate. I was not rude. Although one time I did get in her face because she kept talking above me, and I was like, "Why are you talking above me?" And she just kept getting louder and louder. And I was like, "Listen, shut up." I did not say it like that. I said a little more aggressive, but I immediately apologized and calmed down like right after that, because like, whew, growth. Because the strength. Yesterday I was thinking about it, and I would call it restrength, because it's strength to stand up for yourself, but also with the restraint not to punch the bitch in the face because I wanted to. I did. My primal urge to smack a bitch, but I was like, no, obviously not. I can't do that because I'm an INFP, so let me be very calm, and I can, especially when I know I can get a point across. Like, I just think it's weird. Like, I always find it weird people resort to violence really quickly. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know there's different circumstances, but like sometimes I'm just like, you know, you could have just talked it out. Like, I know a lot of people be like, no, but some, I mean, I get it. Sometimes, yes, there is the primal urge to smack a bitch, and sometimes the necessity to smack a bitch. But truth be told, maybe not really ever really a necessity to smack a bitch. And there's always a way you can get a point across. Y'all just have to know how to do it. And because I'm more educated in terms of like how I educate myself in communication, I can get a point across. I don't have to yell. I don't have to get aggressive. I don't have to get violent. I can just tell you what I'm feeling, and I can walk away because my point's across, and I don't need to play dick measuring contests with anybody to prove why my point is better than your point. Because again, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make that four-legged hoe drink, okay? So my entire point trying to get across was that you may want what's best for him, but at this very moment, you being very toxic to your own self, you cannot be anything positive for his life at the moment. So you may not be the best thing to keep in his life right now. And everyone around him is telling him to keep cutting her off. And I know y'all are gonna hear this and be like, oh my God, that you can't cut your mother off. You absolutely can, and I'm the prime example of that. I cut my mother off, and we now have a relationship that is, I want to say we are working on it. We are cordial to a certain point, and she understands that I'm not the same person that walked out that house 2 years ago. I'm not that same kid that was so afraid and timid. I'm a grown-ass man, and I can say what I want. And I will tell you when you are crossing a boundary with me. I will tell you that I don't trust you as much as you want me to because of what has transpired in the past. And that you now, and I'm more than happy to get to know who you are now, but you would have to prove to me and show me the growth in you, or at least the attempt of growth that you are trying to go through to make you a better person, because that's all I care about. I'm not gonna let you come back into my life with intentions and a huge ego. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be crazy. And sometimes I'm a fucking champion of that. I'm a champion of correcting your parents' behaviors. And if you can't correct them, leave. That's so crazy. Like, and sometimes leaving is the one thing that can correct their behavior, and I truly believe that. Like, because I always tell parents, like I told my parents, I was like, listen, to be honest, parents raise you. That's what it's supposed to do. They may not do it the best, trust me. But once they hit 18 and 21, to be honest, that job is over. And I know y'all could be like, a parent is always a parent. Yeah, you're always a parent, but your job of raising me is over at 21. Now I have to fend for myself. And not say fend for myself, but I am now able to think for myself. I have the ability to do for myself. And I, as an adult, should be able to utilize those skills and talents. And if I don't have those skills and talents to help me to persist in this life, then I need to, on my own notions, go and find those skills and talents and necessary things and tools to help me throughout life. Because you can rely on your parents, but you're not supposed to like rely on your parents, if that makes sense. And if it doesn't, bite me. I don't care. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. But like, what I'm trying to say is that like, you need to be an independent individual for yourself, but you can always rely on your parents. If that is a reliable relationship that you have with your parents. Me, I can rely on them to a certain extent, but like, no. no, ma'am. He's cool. He's keep it cordial. I talk to you maybe once a week, and we call it a day. Like I don't want to like. We don't have the relationship where we can go like, do that kind of stuff. But that was what I was trying to say. Now, his grandmother got it because I mean, I didn't get an argument with his mom, and she was more so upset that I was even bringing it up. And she was like I'm his mom, and I could tell her like that doesn't necessarily matter as much as you think it does anymore. And y'all can bite me on that one too, because now like you have to like I was just trying to get her to understand you need to take a step back. And I just kept saying that. I wasn't like I was like you need to take a step back, and I told her I was like take a step back and understand why like you have to look at from a different perspective. You are not helping him, you are hurting him. Like he also got in it just prior to this situation just now, like he got into a fucked up moment because he was trying to save his mom from something that could not be saved from. Could not be saved. Like I remember me and it's funny because me and his dad asked him the same question, and we weren't even like, he was like, because when I asked him the question, he was like, that's funny, my dad asked me the same exact way. I was like, because it's true. Because what could you have done had you made it to said event or said problem? Like, he's like, nothing. I was like, absolutely not. I feel like that's what like, and it's not just me, it's like his spirit guides in the universe are trying to show him that like, you cannot save people who cannot save themselves. You can't be their savior. And that was a lesson I had to learn. And it ain't easy. It ain't easy. Because I want to save everybody that I care about. I get it. Like, I want to save my mother. I do. From her own thoughts. Because, I mean, now that she let me into certain areas of her life, I understand where she came from. And I want to, like, help her and heal her. But I can't be the one to heal her, baby. I can't be the one to help her. She has to do it herself. And that is the only way for her to grow. I can only work on my own growth. And help guide people through others, but I can't be the thing that grows you. You have to be the thing that grows you. But she ended up like just being so like a child, and I was like, okay, so at this point, I'm not gonna sit here and try to drive this point home. If you don't, I made my point, I get it. And his grandmother was like, no, I understand completely. And I was, that definitely did help in terms of, and I was gonna attack her too. And I know that's so fucked up, but like when I was like about ready to snap per se, like I was like, listen, I just texted her, I was like, listen, like, because she kept calling me, like, she didn't even address me or ask me what my name was. I was like, you could try. I was gonna attack her, but I'm glad I didn't. And I know that sounds messed up, but like, I'm glad I was gonna go for her first, because I was getting very like, and people, I can only test to people who understand, like, when you get in such an energy, like, it's hard to like differentiate. For me, especially as a Scorpio Sun Aries moon, it's hard to differentiate like who I'm attacking. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's like, all y'all can get it. Like all y'all can get it. Left to right, north to south, east to west, bitch, I don't give a damn. Like diagonal, y'all want it, you know what I'm saying? But like, I think what I also had to realize in that, because I was also beating myself up for that argument low key. But it was one of the things I had to realize I was proud of myself of, that I had the strength to understand that like the main problem and what I wanted to address wasn't ever going to get tackled if I just went about attacking everybody for personal stuff. Like I was gonna attack and be like, you know my name, like, you know what I'm saying, but like that's not what I want to do. So I ended up just thinking about it and calmly directing my like frustration towards a mother and trying to get my point across. All the anger I wanted to let out on her, like I just channeled that into making the point more appropriate for her to hear. But in terms, did it? No. Did I yell in her face at one time and tell her to shut the fuck up? Yes. And I apologized for it, even to my best friend, and he was like, no. He was like, thank you, but I get it. I was like, shh. But his grandmother was there in the room, and she was, so my best friend left because he walked out the room, which was very scary because I was like, I don't know how hospitals work, but I know patients aren't supposed to do that. Okay, God, that's wrong. I know you're thinking, like, did he have other stuff? No, he had, like, they disconnected him from something for a moment, so like he could just walk out, which was very like, it was funny because I was like, looking back, I was like one of the things that like, you've seen like Final Destination where like things happen in like a series of events, and you're like, why did that happen? Now I see why like the nurse came in and it was like, was God like, well, he about to lose his shit to do it? I was like, I would have gotten knew I was gonna go off. Anyways, so I was like, his grandmother made me feel less, what's the word? Insane, really? Because sometimes you can second guess yourself even in times of moments like that where like you have to address things, or you have to like, or you're standing up for yourself, or even standing up for others. Sometimes you question if you're correct in your actions. And sometimes I do that because I'm just, again, introspective. I mean, that's one of, again, another intelligence that I have for myself. I have to like make sure that what I'm bringing up is a valid point. I don't want to ever attack somebody or bring up something and then be wrong about it. And I wouldn't say like I'll be wrong about it, but be incorrect in the accusations or that I would be making against somebody. Because if I do that, I definitely want to be proper in how I do it and what I'm bringing up. And most times as a Scorpio, I always have receipts, always. And I always know more than everybody else knows about themselves. And also know more just in general about everybody, because people just always seem to tell me shit. And if you're a Scorpio, comment down below if you've ever had that happen where just, I mean, I know you probably had that happen where you're just standing in line and like someone's like, good morning, and you're like, good morning, and then like, so here's my life story. It all started when I was born, and I'm like, I'm just here buying a bag of chips. I don't like eating chips. I'm just here buying a bag of chicken wings. Bag of chicken wings. I don't like bag of chicken wings. It's weird. Why am I being more specific about this analogy? But hey. Did the point ever get across to her? I don't know. Not really. Like her and her other son got very mad at me, and he was like, "I'll beat your ass." He texted me like, he was like, "I'll beat your ass if you ever talk to my mom like that again." And I was like, one, you can't fight. So, two, you don't know me because I made shot us both. Okay, but more importantly, I was like, Patrick, no one like that. And that's why I guess what bugs me, and most of the like, they're texting me, and all I did was bring up my best friend's feelings and told his family that they should matter to him. Like, they should matter to them, and I say him, matter to them, and they shouldn't just walk all over him like he's someone to be used. And his grandmother agreed. It was the best part about the whole thing. But of course, as the grandmother agreed and was trying to like help me drive my point across, so that was very, very, very relieving. So if she ever sees this, thank you, and I really truly appreciate that. And if y'all think I'm a monster, and my favorite, y'all never say I'm not a monster, okay? I actually told his grandmother to stop for a second because I was like, hey, because I can understand how sometimes even when someone's calmly driving a point across and it may be hard to hear, when two people try to drive home that same point, it does sometimes feel like a gang up situation. So I told like his grandmother, I was like, hey, if you don't have to help if you don't want to, because I get it. Like, I don't want her to be angry at you as much as me. When I leave, like, she's gonna be pissed off at me and talk mad shit. I already knew that, but I don't want her to feel like she has no one to talk to, like she doesn't have you. But her grandmother was like, nah, she had issues. I was like, stop. That was low-key my favorite part, but like, no, she definitely agreed, and I guess it definitely like cemented that like I was doing the right thing, because I didn't like, and I apologize to my best friend for like creating a very harsh environment for him now, because now that's not comfortable, but like sometimes discomfort is necessary, and he understands that as well. At least I hope he does, and I understand that as most, and I hate it, but like, but I ask sometimes what would be more uncomfortable, him in this moment where like now he has his feelings out there and like they now have to assess them. Like, I think he told me he blocked his mom yesterday, and I was like, if you feel like you need to do it, then do it. Like, there's nothing wrong, and you also shouldn't beat yourself up over that. Like, I think a lot of times that's where a lot of things come from, is that like you can beat yourself up for doing the right thing because it feels like the wrong thing. But because it feels like the wrong thing, which is truly, again, to my opinion, discomfort in a situation, doesn't mean you did the wrong thing. Now, if you assess it correctly, but giving yourself props, then maybe, and come to the conclusion that maybe you did mess up, or maybe you want to take it back, then by all means, go ahead and do so. Make things correct things as you may to make it right. But when you've done the right thing and like my guides in my universe told me that like I did the right thing. It wasn't just me like coming off and just running at the mouth, because I don't do that. If I bring up something, it's my dog is dreaming right now, and she's like low-key barking in her sleep. Oh my god. It's funny because we went, as I in my last video, I don't know if you watched it, but like I went to the beach yesterday with her, and since the beach, she had, I think last night she even had like running dreams, damn near kicked me in my face. And before you ask like how she even do that, she sleeps weird. And by weird I mean like she either sleeps like me, or she'll like, she'll mimic the way I sleep, or like she'll like turn the opposite way. And sometimes she'll like, I think she's like almost kicked me in my face, and I was like, whoo. I love her so much. I just do. But and that was nothing that really helped me yesterday. After that happened, I did go to the beach and spend the day with my dog, and that really helped me like in my eyes like calm down a bit, which is real cool. But yeah, I just wanted to like get his feel, because I don't think he was ever going to like truly get his feelings across, or at least he tried. It was like his mom really wasn't listening, like at all. And I was like, how are you doing that? Like to your own child, ma'am. Like, and she definitely held a couple things against me. Like again, this situation of when we were teenagers, and I was like, you can't, even the grandma was like, you can't hold him. She was like, that's not the same, he's not the same person. You can't hold him to that standard that you held him to when he was 15, and you can't use that same event to try to harm me later. I mean, if you had ample time, you had 7 years to do it. If you're still bugging about the situation, let me know. I have no problem getting through stuff and talking some stuff through if that's what it helps. But like, I also feel like she definitely played this like, she definitely blamed me yesterday, like open, and it still bugs me for like making her son gay. And she thinks that like I did it personally, and I'm like, one, no I didn't. And it just kind of sucks, because one of the things my best friend and I like do, we compliment each other for sure, and he definitely like has always told me even back then how grateful he was that I came into his life, because how we met was very unconventional. But not only that, but it was like he thanked me for like making him feel comfortable, because I was, at the time we were in high school, I was like the only gay kid that was like out, in my opinion, even in middle school. But like he definitely told me that like I wasn't the only one, but like the only one that ever fucking mattered apparently. I was like, why y'all so focused on me? But he definitely told me that like how I made him feel more comfortable about, like I was the first person he came out to, and he told me how I made him feel comfortable to be able to do something like that. And I've always relished in that, because I was like, that's one of the moments of like, I feel great that I made an impact on someone's life like that, to feel comfortable enough to be your true self, or to recognize yourself as your true self. Because I think there's another person in his life, I only do that is because the other person I know who helped him be more comfortable in his gay culture, in his gay skin, is someone I also slept with. And that ended up being a complicated thing, so like whatever. Not between me and my best friend, just like between me and the other friend. I was like, just, but I talk about him in my other channel. Oh, so now it's on this channel. Wow, I'm so sidetracked. On this channel, but it's in my Journey of Love series. But it was just very relieving for me, because I think like seeing that as a different, because I mean, it's because I would tell him all the time, like, you know, voice your opinion. He's like, I do. And I'm like, I don't think you do, because like nothing's changing. But I physically like watched what he meant yesterday, when like his mother doesn't listen. Like he told her to her face, I'm fine, please stop it. I can't yell and you're making me, like, vocalize his opinion the way I tell him to always vocalize his opinion. And his mom like shut him down and was like, no. I was like, oh no, you can't do. I'm so cute. I'm sorry. I look like I have like makeup and like blush on and like contour, but I don't. I'm just naturally this cheeky. But for sure it was like, it was just very disheartening and very triggering. And I think that's what I wanted to admit to myself yesterday that I couldn't. It was very triggering because, I put my foot in the light. It was very triggering because I've been through that. I've been through that, and to watch somebody else go through it is so heartbreaking, is what, like, it would make me want to cry yesterday, because I hate seeing people who are in need and also whose voice, and I think like life itself is being, because my life by my parents was like stifled. Like, if you talk about being an oppressed bitch, like I was one oppressed bitch, okay? And to see my best friend go through that oppression when he doesn't have to, and I can see where everybody's coming from. I finally saw from his perspective, and when I saw from his perspective, it almost disgusted me, because I was like, whoa, like if my mother acted in such a manner, I would have such a corrective behavior. Like, we need to have a meeting, huh? Like, it's crazy. So, and a lot of y'all look at me and be like, that's not right. You can't do, like, you can absolutely correct any behavior of someone you want in your life. If you're gonna be there, you need to be of a certain standard and of a certain degree of mine. I'm just gonna let you in my life and be in my life because you just are. Like, people think you hold titles, and people think they hold titles, or they have a past with you, and that past with you, and that makes them, or that give them the right to instantly just kind of do whatever and be in your life. And no, ma'am, it does not. It does not do that, and don't ever think it does, because I am happy and quick to remind somebody, you can leave. And I tell everybody in my life, okay, we can be whatever we are now, and that's fine. And I'm not, and this doesn't sound mean. I'm not mean, because people who know me get it. I tell everybody, I will ascend with or without you, period. Like, I will grow and I will elevate with or without you. You can be there. I'm going to help you be there. But if you don't want to listen, then you don't have to listen. I'm not going to make you. I'm not your savior. I'm just your friend, you know, if we're friends. Mostly if I tell somebody that we're friends, okay? But it was, I think I just needed to talk through it, because it kind of stayed on my mind all night, and the situation itself is fine. I mean, no, his mom still hates me, and his other brother hates me too, so that's not my fault. Also, I think she has a bit of a resentment for me, because she, again, thinks that I turned her son gay. What I forgot to mention is that both of her sons are gay, so, like, I didn't do that. That's not, and second of all, I couldn't if I tried. That doesn't make sense. And even if it did make sense in some weird ass world, you can only blame me for one. The other one ain't my fault. But no, nothing of that like happened. But like, I was like, are you serious? Like, you gotta be kidding me. But two of the things that really triggered me, that irritated me to my soul, was my point, again, getting across was, you need to be there and show up for your son, but you can't do it in the current state you're in. So you may have to back away from his life so that he can, one, find himself, which his grandmother was the one that really said that part. And I was like, oh, I forgot about that part. Like, one, find himself and understand who he is as a person, understand how he is as an adult. But furthermore, two lines that triggered me, I mean, there's more that triggered me, but two lines that triggered me. She called me a gay faggot punk, and I was like, whoa. Like, definitely, like, you want me to show you this respect that you think you have or deserve when you call me in such a manner, in such a way? No, ma'am. The other thing was, people who don't know me, I used to be more heavyset, and I lost a lot of weight due to dancing and just eating right and correcting my ways in relationship with food, which I'm still working on too. But she chalked it up. She was like, you probably have AIDS, losing all that weight. You lost all that weight in a year. And I was like, okay, I don't know if you're drunk and just throwing jabs, or this is something that, because again, when somebody says something, I mean, that's something been on your mind for a hot minute. You need to get it off your chest. And that's the way you truly feel, then truly feel that way over there. But it was very, very disgusting to me to hear somebody that, like, used to quote unquote take care of us, talk about me in such a manner to my face, and then demand respect from me. No, ma'am, you get none of that shit from me. And if they ever see this, you can all fucking bite me. Like, get a fork, a napkin, and bite me, bitch, because that's ridiculous. Never, funny. I was shuffling. I didn't mean to, but this card came out. And that's fine. That's what Spirit reminded me, because it was divinely, like, I'm more divinely feminine in nature, but I mean, I'm temperance energy, so I'm balanced. I can be both if I want to. But for sure, like, I just was so thrown back by, like, the fact I was almost tempted to lose my shit yesterday. That's how irritating it was and triggering. I was very tempted to lose my shit, but I know if I lost my shit, then, like, it would take me 7 steps backwards, but I guess it would still be valid because I was angry. But I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I had the control and restraint not to do so. But that was very triggering for me, and I guess I now have to address, in my opinion, like, what about that triggers me so bad, and why does it trigger me so instantly? And if I ever came out of the situation again, would I react the same way? Because I don't, not that I beat myself up for how I reacted. Do I think I could have reacted a little bit differently? I don't know what I did wrong, other than yelling in her face maybe one time, but I was in mid-conversation, not when I started, or ended, actually. Matter of fact, when she called me, when she made the AIDS comment, it was actually me going downstairs and going to my car because I was leaving, and she yelled, like, the gay faggot remark across the parking lot, which I was like, oh no. And I was walking away, and, like, I don't know my best friend is, I did, so I turned around, and I didn't even notice I was, like, halfway to her until I was halfway to her, and I was like, oh shit. It was like, you ever catch yourself and you're like, oh God, no. Because I was definitely, like, walking over, and I gotta admit that, like, I had to nurture myself very quickly because I was like, I'll lose my shit. But I went over there, and again, thank you for the restraint from Spirit, because I walked over there and I was like, listen. And she was trying to get me away. She was like, you're gonna hit me. I was like, why are you trying to put on me this violent state that's not existent at this moment? Because I went over there and I was like, hey, Miss Gibson. And I did, but she was like, back up, because you know how to hit me. And so I backed up. I was like, whatever makes this conversation a little more comfortable for you to have. I was like, what about what I said makes you angry? What I was trying to get at was having her explain to me what frustrated her, so I can explain to her why it was said. I wasn't I wasn't bashing anybody or attacking anybody. I was, again, trying to make her personally understand that, again, you may want what's best for your son, but in order to do that, you may not be what's best for your son at this moment. And that is a hard truth to listen to, and I understand that. And I also took into account that her son is in the hospital, and her mother will feel a very anxious and nervous way about those situations. But does that explain away her action towards me? Absolutely not. And again, I can't be her karma. I'm not God. I'm me. Which is close enough, but hey. I don't want this video to last too long, but I needed to vent about that for a second, because I wouldn't realize yesterday, but I guess it wasn't really triggering for me, because old John almost came back, but he didn't, and it's fine. But it was very, like, wow, because I saw a side of her I was not really ready to see yet. And I am almost saddened by it, but truly don't give a damn because it's not my fault and I don't do anything. I didn't say anything wrong. I stand by what I said, fact for fact, word for word, other than, like, shut the fuck. No, I even stand by the shut the fuck up comment. I just don't stand by how I said it. But my friend, no. I think that's what I'm beating myself up about, is doing that, but I don't think I really feel as bad as I think I do. I don't feel bad at all, actually. I don't, because I got my point across, and if you're talking over me, shut up. Like, you can't, just stop interrupting and, like, she's interrupting and, like, talking over me to be the loudest in the room. And I think that was what my growing up was like with my family, and I hate that so much. And now I'm recognizing it as a trigger, and I have to go work through that. But I'm not gonna work through it right now. I'm gonna take a nap. Ooh, I made some chicken wings. I baked chicken wings last night. Y'all, so hear me out. I know something dangerous. Like, tell me why I put my oven on the timer and I baked chicken wings yesterday while I was sleeping. So they didn't get done till like 3 in the morning, and, like, I think I went and, like, I sleepily ate a piece of chicken, and then, like, good chicken by the way, and went back to bed. But I'm about to go make some rice and veggies to go with the chicken and make some meal prep, because starting a new job, I want to get back into making meal prep and stuff like that. That's the bitch I imagine myself as. I'm gonna be that bitch. You know what I mean? Bring it into reality. But yeah, I wanted to vent about that because it just stays in my mind. I don't want it to stay in my mind because I think it also provided me less sleep last night because I kept getting up thinking about it. I even thought about it this morning when I got up. And I don't like doing that because I don't like people being in my energy like that because that's gross. But now that I got it out, I can and see what I need to work through, I can work through it. And that's actually what this video was for, and it did its legit purpose. That is so fucking cool. But anyways, I appreciate you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share the video if you could. Getting the word out really helps. If this did resonate with you, maybe you guys went through some similar situation, maybe you guys are going through a situation, if you guys have parents that, see what I'm talking about, talking fast? If you guys have parents or maybe people in your life that treat you the way my friend's mom treats him, it makes you feel like you can't do anything, makes you feel pressured, a lot of stuff, let me know down in the comments if you want to, and maybe we can talk about it. Hey, if you have anything else you want to talk about too, let me know. I love doing all kinds of topics, hard topics, any topics you want me to do, I can do them. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.